I'm Roger Haig with Gateway Pacific Law, a law firm in Long Beach, California. Ever wondered what executive orders are and how they shape U.S. policy? In this video, we break down everything you need to know about executive orders, what they are, how they're used, and their power and limitations. Whether you're a student, a political junkie, or just curious about how the U.S. government operates, this video will give you a clear and concise understanding of this powerful presidential tool. What are executive orders? Executive orders are official directives issued by the president to manage the operations of the federal government. They can range from routine administrative actions, such as granting federal employees a day off, to significant policy changes. For example, President Joe Biden used an executive order to establish a framework for regulating artificial intelligence. These orders, along with related instruments like proclamations and memoranda, enable presidents to advance their agendas, especially when legislative progress is stalled. One notable feature of executive orders is that they can be easily reversed by subsequent administrations. For instance, on his first day in office, President Donald Trump rescinded 78 executive actions signed by his predecessor, President Barack Obama. Similarly, President Biden later revoked several of Trump's orders. This cyclical nature underscores the temporary impact of many executive orders. How have executive orders been used historically? The use of executive orders dates back to the founding of the United States. George Washington issued the first executive orders, and since then, presidents have used them to address a wide range of issues. Franklin D. Roosevelt holds the record for the most executive orders, with 3,621 during his presidency, many of which were aimed at addressing the Great Depression and World War II. Fun fact, William Henry Harrison was the only president who never issued an executive order. In more recent history, President Trump signed 220 executive orders during his first term, while President Biden signed 160 in his first year. The frequency and scope of these orders often reflect the political climate and the president's legislative challenges. Let's look at the role of executive orders in political messaging. Executive orders are not just policy tools. They are also a means of political communication. Presidents often use them to signal their priorities and fulfill campaign promises. For example, Trump issued orders to freeze federal hiring, mandate the return of federal employees to office work, and review investigations that he believed targeted his supporters. These actions were closely tied to his political messaging and base. Similarly, President Biden has used executive orders to signal a shift in policy direction from the previous administration, particularly in areas like climate change, immigration, and healthcare. While these orders can be symbolic, they also have practical implications for how the federal government operates. What are the limitations on executive orders? Despite their utility, executive orders are not without constraints. Both Congress and the judiciary can check their power. For example, Congress can pass legislation to override an executive order or withhold funding needed to implement it. In 1992, Congress effectively nullified an executive order by President George H.W. Bush that sought to establish a human fetal tissue bank for research. The courts also play a critical role in limiting executive orders. If a president is deemed to have overstepped their constitutional authority, the judiciary can strike down the order. A landmark case occurred during the Korean War when President Harry Truman attempted to seize steel mills to prevent a strike. The Supreme Court ruled that he lacked the authority to take such action without congressional approval, highlighting the limits of executive power. Executive orders are a vital tool for presidents to manage the federal government and advance their policy agendas. However, their impact is often fleeting, as they can be easily reversed by subsequent administrations. Moreover, they are subject to checks and balances from Congress and the judiciary, ensuring that the president's power is not absolute. Understanding the history, utility, and limitations of executive orders is essential for appreciating their role in the broader context of American governance.